Hey, well, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be working up on the poop deck. We're going to put some metal pieces on there, just some more doors and windows and whatnot. We'll get the railing up there and probably also get the railing on the forecastle, which is, basically going to be the same thing here. So I made this little jig. We'll see how it works. I think my hands are going to be in the way, but it's the purpose of it is to be able to make these windows uh, very evenly spaced. So there's going to be 5 things that run across here. There's a door in the middle and 2 windows on either side of it. So yeah, the theory here is that I've got the spacing and the height and everything, so the windows should be at the same height as the top of the door. The door itself is relatively easy, I think, to put in and position because I've got a plank that's perfectly centered on the deck, and the door itself has a little, vertical thing running through it that's perfectly centered on it, which means all I need to do is line that up with that plank, and so there's really I don't need to measure anything out on this. It's all just going to be visual and right. So I got this seam running right there, which runs right down the center, and then all I did was line that up there. So what should be able to happen is me be able to take this and put it right next to that door like that, and I should then be able to put the window right in there, right up, flush up against that corner, and that should leave it the exact same height as the top of the door and exactly 5 millimeters away. But we'll see how well that works. First thing I got to do is stop dropping the window. It's got glue on it, and I've got no idea where. Oh, there it is. Where it bounced off to. It's not working as well as I would like. We might need to reposition some things here now that let me get all of the glue off of it. Let me go and kind of reposition things around. And all right, well, the best laid plans here. Tried to film everything, and it just wasn't working. I ended up making another different kind of jig. It's the same thing. I got a little handle on it. This was more of a T shape, so it could go across. What I ended up having to do is actually hold the ship bow up in the air so that gravity became my third hand, which is what I needed. So I was able to place the jig on there. One hand's holding the ship, the jig stayed in place, and then I was able to, with my other hand and a pair of tweezers, drop the windows in exactly kind of where I wanted. So they're all nice and evenly spaced. and everything. So okay, so that's good. So now the next step here that we're going to do is we're going to start working on a railing that's going to go around here, and it's mostly composed of those same short little pillars, except for two of them, which is just some 4x4 millimeter cut to 8 millimeters in length. And unfortunately, the instructions, they show you a picture. They don't really give you any sort of indications of dimensions and how to measure this out. So I kind of just had to kind of eyeball it a little bit. So I think everything is going to key off of these two in here. And I was able to kind of look at the picture, count the number of planks. They're planking in, in the pictures is a little bit different spacing and stuff, but I can tell, knowing each plank is 5 millimeters and stuff. Decided to come in and say, well, each of these has to come in 15 millimeters. So it's going to be like that. There'll be 3 pillars in the middle, 2 here, and then 3 down each side. So yeah, so let me go and get some glue, and we'll start putting these in, and then I'll start putting the pillars in. Once I think I get these in, of course I know exactly where the center one is going to be, because again I have the center line here. So then it's really just about kind of eyeballing it, and pretty good over the short distances. You can kind of evenly space them, and if you're a fraction of a millimeter off, nobody's going to notice. If you start getting to be like 2 millimeters off or something, but that should be pretty obvious, and you'll know to correct it. So let me go. I'm going to double check all of my measurements here, and then we'll come back and start gluing things in place. All right, so we get the one here that's going in the center. Got those in. Now I'm going to start down here. I know the one's got to go right next to where the two pieces of walnut come together. Get some more glue. There we go. Okay, we've got all of the pillars in. Now we have to cut the railing, and just kind of caution you in there. The railing for this is 2 millimeters by 5 millimeters. Okay, so it's kind of the same size as the original, that lime wood planking that we used for the hole. Be careful when you're picking the two out. I don't know if you can see here, because in your kit, you're going to have 2 by 5 millimeter walnut and 2 by 5 meters sapele. You can tell the difference. The sapele is a lighter wood, kind of more of a reddish color. The walnut is for your pin rails and whatnot. That will be the next thing that we'll work on after putting these things on. But the sapele, and you get 2 strips in there, is for this railing. So this railing and the bow railing, and I'm not sure if it's used around the railing of the quarter deck. I think that is slightly thinner stuff. That might be 4 millimeter. That's could be walnut, but I'll have to go and double check. We're not going to do that for a little later on. So anyway, let me go get the railing cut, and then we'll come in back and we'll glue this on, and then probably work on the bow. All right, well, I got my 3 pieces cut here, but we got to put a little bit of an angle on the end of these. I've kind of measured it out, and it's an 8-degree angle. That's because basically the stuff going off the poop deck there, those things jutting out aren't perpendicular. They aren't straight. So I kind of measured it. It's tough to get in there and get the right angle. I thought 8 degrees was a little odd. So I took some of my lime wood that's left over, cut that to 8 degrees with my disc sander, and was able to hold it up there and say, yeah, that actually is the right angle for cutting these. So let's go, and we're going to just gently kind of grind the ends down. I've already dialed the angle in. Each of these needed on one side. All right, I should say I may have been a little wrong earlier. I think we're going to use the sapele for the pin rails and stuff as well. I'm not sure with everything that the 2 sticks is going to be enough for that, but we'll see, and I'll let you know when we get to that step, when we get all of these rails done. So before we can start putting this on, we need to sand the other end, not of these short ones, into kind of a half circle. All right, let me get with maybe a finer piece of sandpaper. We'll get this one done. I'll sand the other one up, and then we'll come back and we'll mount the rails. Okay, I've got both of these, or three kind of sanded and everything, or well, rounded off. What I've decided to do is glue two of the pieces together out here and set it on, because it looks like, wondering here, my dog is underneath my table, bumping into me, bumping into the camera. Anyway, so this piece is a little bit long, for what it's going to need. So it's going to need to get trimmed down. The problem is, right, can't, to figure that out, I need to either have it on there and kind of, glued with this, glued onto the other piece. So I'm going to glue one end here flush. That way I'm able to set it on there, get these two positioned correctly, figure out how much I need to trim that down so that the other side will sit flush on there. And since this is sepally, which tends to stain with CA, I'm going to just use some white glue. So it's going to take a little while for this to dry. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll come back, figure out how long this is going to be. I said I'll just be able to use the disc sander to sand it down, to the perfect length, and then we'll glue this piece on, which is going to go like that, and then we should be able to just put it on as a single assembly. All right, it'll probably be the next day for me. It's already pretty late here tonight. It'll be about 2 seconds for you. Okay, I got this piece built here. Saw me glue one part on. I got the other part on. I already sized it up, everything. It fits perfect. So I think we'll go and we'll mount this, and then I'm going to start working on the rail that's going to go across the forecastle. It's very similar, except it'll be at 90 degrees, and these sections here will be a little bit shorter. And of course, we've got the ship's bell, it sits in the middle. So instead of having one continuous post, it's broken into two. So let me go reposition the camera. I'll get this thing attached, and then you can see I've got a bunch of the pillars here to go. I need to place those at the forecastle. I probably won't film that. We'll just come back afterwards once I've got everything mounted. All right, there we go. And perfect fit. So like I said, we're going to go do the bow. We'll come back and I'll show you this and probably give you some good close-ups once they're both done. All right, you can see I got the railing done up here on the bow section. It's going to be pretty simple. So the last railing we need to do is around here. But before we do that, we're actually going to work on the pin rails. I'm not really sure how much of that I'll actually film. Maybe just putting some of them on. I've already started making them. You can see them here. There's not much to it. You just cut the thing to length, drill out the holes for the belaying pins, and round off the corners and stuff. They're made out of the sepali, which is the same wood we're using here for these rails. The only trick I noticed is that two of them go right where some of these vertical little reinforcements are. And so you kind of have to go in and cut out the top of it to make a gap in order for it to go up there and be able to sit flush with the bulwark. So there's 4 total that go on each side. There's these 5 pin ones that are kind of going to go, I think one goes here, or kind of, yeah, up here, and the other one goes down here a little bit further. Then there's a long 7 pin one that goes here, and then back up here there's just a short little 2 pin one. I haven't made any of those yet. So anyway, so that's kind of the plan here. Go and get those in. Like I said, I'll come back, we'll get those installed, and then I'll get this railing done. Again, not sure how much I'll film it. It's basically the same process that these two were. So maybe just as I'm putting it on top. So anyway, so let me go and do that, and then we'll come back. I'll show you the final results, and we'll wrap up this video. Well, you can see I got the pin rails on. Looking pretty good. They're all going to have to get varnished and whatnot. Probably should have done that before I put them on, but oh well, couldn't help it. So the railings need to get varnished here as well. So as I said, I'm going to go now and start working on the rail that goes here. We'll come back. I might show a little bit of that assembly. We'll just see how it's going as I'm building it out. And then that'll probably conclude this video. Okay, as you can see, I got the final railing on there. This is a little different than the others, in that it's got some belaying pins to go through it. But just like the others, I built it off, glued all the pieces together as off the ship, not mounting them one at a time, and then just mount the whole assembly on top of the pillars and stuff in there. So yeah, so ship's really looking good. I think this is a good spot. I'm going to end this video. In the next one, we'll be doing some of the final trim work on the deck. That doesn't mean that the deck is final. There's still going to be the cannons. There's still the ship's boats, and then a few other details that will have to wait until later on. But after the next video, we'll pretty much have the deck finished. So anyway, again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.